My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program, The Cultural Magazine, during which we bring you the latest cultural events that are taking place in Egypt. Please stay tuned.
Under the auspices of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the 54th session of the Cairo International Book Fair was recently inaugurated. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli witnessed the opening of the book fair. The cultural event is also held under the patronage of the Minister of Culture, Dr. Naveen Kilani, together with the Jordanian Minister of Culture, Haifa el-Nagar, who represents the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, who is the guest of honor of this year's session of the fair. The current edition of the book fair bears the slogan, "In the name of Egypt, together we read, think, and create." The opening was attended by a number of ministers and officials and Jordan's ambassador to Cairo, Amgad Al-Udaili. The premier welcomed the participants of the Cairo International Book Fair this year from Egypt and various countries of the world, addressing a special greeting to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, the guest of honor for this session, pointing to the strong brotherly ties and the extended bilateral relations between the two countries in various fields. After the opening, the Prime Minister toured different sections of the fair, inspecting a number of pavilions for the participating institutions, bodies, and publishing houses. He was briefed on what the fair offers in its current session, as the minister indicated that this virgin witnesses the presence of more than 1,000 Egyptian, Arab, and foreign publishers and the participation of 53 countries, including some countries participating for the first time, such as Hungary and the Dominican Republic. The Minister of Culture pointed out that the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan was chosen as the guest of honor for this session under the slogan, "Jordan is the civilization of the past, creativity of the future." Also in this respect, poet and writer Salah Jahin was selected as the personality of the fair, as well as the writer Kamil Kilani, who was chosen for children's book fair character. Salah Jahin was an Egyptian poet, cartoonist, and screenwriter who was born in 1930 in Shobra, Cairo. Jahin joined the Faculty of Fine Arts and then left it to join the Faculty of Law at the wish of his father, who was a judge. He began his career as a journalist in Bint Nil newspaper, then a Tahrir newspaper. During this period, he published his first collections, Words of Peace, in 1955. In the mid-50s, his fame began to glimmer as a cartoonist in Rosa Al-Yusuf magazine, then in Sabah al-Khair magazine, which he co-founded in 1957. The 60s also witnessed his permanent cooperation with the renowned singer Abdul Halim Hafiz and composer Kamal al-Tawil in songs about the 1952 July Revolution, in order to simplify it for the public in lyrical works such as A Photograph, Surah, Oh Welcome to the Battles, We Are the People, together with some others. He also presented many theatrical works such as the famous bridal operetta, The Big Night, and the operetta Cairo in 1,000 Years, which witnessed the artistic debut of the famous actor Ahmad Zaki. Additionally, Jaheen took part in acting in several films such as The Thief and the Dogs in 1962, No Time for Love in 1963, The Mamluks in 1956. Later in 1972, he wrote the movie Keep Zuzu in Mind with the actress Suat Hosni, who dubbed him as her spiritual father, which sparked intense controversy at the time, describing him as belittling the Egyptian student movement, which was portrayed in the film. However, the film achieved a fantastic success and resumed its cinematic screening for more than 54 consecutive weeks. After that, he continued to write screenplays for films like Who Am I in 1974, Shafiqa and Mitwalli in 1978, along with many others. He also worked as a technical advisor for the classical movie Karnak in 1975. The 80s also witnessed a different type of artistic brilliance for him, during which he wrote the successful series He and She in 1985 that is beside his annual work in writing poems and songs for Fawazir Ramadan or The Riddles of Ramadan with performing actress Nelly.
زحام وأبواق سيارات مزعجة، اللي يطل رصيف يبقى نجا. لو كنت جنبي يا حبيبي أنا مش كنت أشوف إن الحياة مبهجة. عجبي.
Artistic history has immortalized him as the philosopher of the simple. Salah Jaheen was a brilliant writer and novelist, so he presented many distinguished works, and perhaps the most important work he presented in this field is Salah Jaheen's Rubaiyat, which bore the colloquial simple character.
لا محبة فيها ولا كراهة ولا حتى يا قلبي الحزن ما عادش فيك. معلش معلش لك يوم برضه راح تتملى. عجبي.
The Cairo Opera House is playing a significant role in the cultural events and movements that are taking place in Egypt. Let's watch with us now the activities that are taking place in the Cairo Opera House.
On the Grand Theatre at the Cairo Opera House, the Cairo Opera Company presented Opera Rigoletto by the great Italian composer Giuseppe Verdi, accompanied by the great conductor Mohammed Saad Basha. Rigoletto is an opera in 3 acts by Giuseppe Verdi. The Italian libretto was written by Francisco Maria Beave, based on the 1832 play Le Roi s'amuse by Victor Hugo.
Of the Suez Canal in Egypt, that was Rigoletto, performed in 1869. As you know, there was a gift from Khedive, from Verdi to Khedive Ismail, but instead of Aida, they performed the premiere with Rigoletto. Thank you, Shur, for having me here on Nile TV. The role is Sparrow for Chile. The assassin, he is the murderer in hire. He took the charge to kill the Duke from Rigoletto after being cursed by Monteron. The idea is that it's a heartless persona. He's always craving for bloodshed, and even he uses his sister Maddalena to seduce the Duke for the sake of grabbing him and killing him to fulfill. But the curse is fulfilled when he killed Gilda, the daughter of Rigoletto, instead. So it's a real dramatic opera. It's the first dramatic opera that I participated in. I sang Baroque opera before for Pergolesi. The atmosphere is different. I used to sing comic roles and buffo opera. This is the first dramatic role that I encounter. So the atmosphere is totally different. It's more serious. Even the music is more complicated and sophisticated with Verdi. The whole atmosphere is really indulging. So you have to prepare very well. I've been rehearsing for 2 months, and looking forward. I hope that the performance would fulfill our demands as singers. Actually, I've been on stage many times for years, but it's a different atmosphere when you join the Cairo Opera Company with those great singers, professional singers. I was watching them when I've been in school and at university. So it's a great experience. Those who are a big fan of them, you are now singing with them or their colleagues. So it's a different atmosphere, and it's really challenging for me. So that's how the challenge goes, to sing with those professional artists and a very understanding, talented artist like Mohammad Saadi Bash. It's all about being passionate about the classical music, being indulged in music. You should listen a lot, you should have a good sense of hearing, you should have a good taste, and you should understand how your voice goes. And you should train well, you should search for a professional teacher, a good teacher, and study hard and work hard to the fullest, to the maximum. That's the clue.
Rigoletto is the first of Verdi's middle period operas and marks a shift towards coherent musical tapestries instead of the typical Italian aria format. Though Verdi by no means leaves the form behind, there are fewer applause breaks than in his earlier works, the drama seemingly rushing headlong towards its conclusion.
Well, today I'm performing the role of Gilda. She's supposed to be a light soprano, which is actually exactly my voice. She's a complicated character, actually. She's complex. She symbolizes peace, and she symbolizes everything which is good. Um, she, she, she does not have any bad characteristics, you know. She's not evil. She does not hate. She's like an angel, and eventually she sacrifices herself because she loved the Duke, who is actually he's not in love with her. He's playing her actually, and eventually she still believes in love, and she sacrifices herself. Actually, this is my first time performing this role. Everything about this opera is complicated. Everything about it is dramatic. Each and every character has its own complicity, you know. It's wonderful. There's nothing I can say about it. It's very dramatic. It's very wonderful. It touches every person who's listening to the opera, who's watching the opera, and I hope I can deliver this today. I really hope so. I have to be up to the game, up to the level. Everybody here is wonderful. The orchestra is wonderful. The maestro is wonderful. So eventually, each and every singer needs to be up to the level, so that the balance between the levels of the orchestra and the singers needs to be like almost in the same place, so that we can deliver something big, you know, because this is a huge opera. If it's going to be done, it needs to be done perfectly. So hopefully we're going to deliver this today. Of course, the closest to my heart is going to be opera forever and ever, although it's the hardest to do and the hardest to perform, but it's me, it's the thing I do, so I put all emotion in it, you know, so hopefully it's going to be good today.
The story goes in a world controlled by the privileged and powerful. Rigoletto is loathed and mocked for his difference. The only thing he lives for is his beautiful daughter Gilda, whom he hides away from a corrupt society. But when she's discovered by the predatory Duke, Rigoletto sets out on a path of vengeance from which there is no return. A wonderful example of Romantic era music, Joseph Verdi's Rigoletto had a firm grasp of realism and drama, which explored the spectrum of human emotions. Shuruk Bikir, Cultural Magazine.
The camera of our program is always going after the cultural events and movements that are taking place in Egypt. Let's watch the following segment.
The National Arab Music Ensemble performed a concert on the Grand Theatre at the Cairo Opera House, led by Maestro Dr. Mustafa Hilmi, and the performance by Ashraf Walid, Ahmed Saeed, Ghada Adam, Samah Munir, Maya Hassan, and Ayat Farouk.
طبعا تحضيرات الحفلة بتبقى لازم بروفات كتير علشان نقدر نطلع الفرقة الموسيقية والمطرب
Well, the preparation for the concert took too much rehearsals so that we can show the harmony on stage with maestro, the singers, the instrument players with great quality close to the sound of a CD. So we do a lot of preparations to be ready for our audience and help in raising the common taste with quality music, which we are always up for it and still adding our best. Any song in the old music era is difficult. The songs used to take months of preparations and state of creativity, so imagine how they used to master it. We do respect what we do and how we should and must present it with a very high quality. Nowadays, songs can take only 10 minutes to be released, so what been made fast goes fast. For the two songs that I sang, both are so close to my heart. One for the late Kamal Hosni and another for the legendary Abdul Halim Hafiz, which I hold a special memory with. This song, that was when I won a difficult stage in one of the biggest singing programs in the world because of the way I performed it. The ensemble presented a bouquet of the most famous lyrical compositions from our musical heritage, such as قلبي بيقول لي كلام، أحضان الحبايب، على قد الشوق، غالي عليا، مستحيل، مصر التي في خاطري، عجبا الغزال، على رمش عيونها، وحياتك يا حبيبي, and many others.
اخترت الأغاني النهاردة كنت حاولت إن أنا أنوع فيها علشان خاطر ترضي جميع الأذواق.
I wanted to give a diverse performance with different song choices to suit different tastes, such as يا ساعة الوقت اجري, القلب ولا العين, and من حبي ليك يا جاري. I wanted to cheer up the audience and switch their moods, cause normally I sing for Fairuz and other classic songs, but today I wanted some beats to indulge the audience with me and add some fun. On stage, we are all entwining together with great harmony. Of course, the maestro always has a vision and he listens to ours too. We do compromise, we discuss, we listen to each other's opinions, and at the end, everyone is comfortable, satisfied, and loving what they present. The concert took us 2 weeks of preparation. We start with a general frame, then we sit and discuss the choices of the songs, and then comes the rehearsals. We are not targeting only the elderly, but different generations. My personal aim is to spread our musical heritage to also youth, and I really feel overwhelmed when I find young people between the audience. It is noteworthy that the Arab National Music Ensemble was established in 1989 with the aim of collecting the Arab musical and lyrical heritage and represented it in an advanced academic and scientific manner so that the new generations can get acquainted with the Arab musical heritage to preserve it from extinction.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Culture Magazine. I hope you enjoyed being with me. Please wait for me in the next episode. Until then, it's goodbye.